Hello, everyone, and welcome to another NGS matchup. Tonight, I am happy to be joined by Trabe. Hi, Trabe.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Happy to be here. We've got a great game coming up, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, and so what we have is Division B West, and this is going to be Massive Whiff versus G.Guardian eSports. Super excited. I know you and I are familiar with Massive Whiff from Division C last season in NGS.
Very familiar, yes.
So it's going to be fun to see them in action again. And I also have seen G.Guardian eSports. I think it was either in the TAW Invitational Tournament or maybe the Region Tournament. So I know they're a really solid team as well. So this should be good.
Yeah, we've got both these teams are right around that same level in the standings so far. So I
Yeah,
expect
let's
it to be a
show
very
that.
close game.
Here are the standings, just to show everybody where we're at. So we've got Massive Whiff, G.Guardian. You see, they're right there, kind of in the middle. They've both, looks like they've had some splits to start off, and they're definitely going to be hungry to move up in those standings.
Yeah, every team in NGS is looking to be in the top 6 of their division by the end of round 4, because those are the ones that make it into those playoffs without having to go through the dreaded wild card weekend. So a 2-0 win here for either of these teams would put them in a very good position to make that happen.
Exactly. So just so to get everybody up to speed, we did have a coin toss, and the maps that were banned were Sky Temple and Towers of Doom. And the first map is going to be Infernal Shrines, and that's the pick of Massive Whiff. This is a map we're used to seeing a lot, Trabe.
You're not wrong. Old standby for NGS at this point.
Definitely. I'm just going to check and see if our teams are ready to go. And we'll get started. So another thing, looks like we got a yes from one. So another thing you and I were talking about before the match tonight was looking at some of the diversity of heroes played by G.Guardian eSports compared to Massive Whiff, who seem to kind of stick in with some comfort heroes. It was 23 heroes, I think, compared to 14 different heroes played over 6 games, which
correct.
I think is really interesting.
Yeah, it's a different take for both teams. For Massive Whiff, you've only got 14 heroes, but that means you're very comfortable on those heroes. You get in the comp, you get your comfort picks, you know what you're going to do. G.Guardian they're more flexible in draft. They're able to be a little trickier, tougher to target ban, but you don't know if you have the same level of comfort and experience running those compositions. So it's interesting to see each team take a little bit of a different approach to their drafting.
Yeah, for sure. So looking at, let's see, we've got G.Guardian, who's going to end up with the first pick here. And then we'll see what direction they go. I mean, knowing that Massive Whiff seems to favor certain heroes, that could give them a leg up on the banning, right? Get them off some of those comfort picks.
I think the big story for banning at the moment in every game is going to be the Deckard white main scramble, as you try to make sure you get one of those 2 healers, or make sure your opponent doesn't get either.
Yeah.
We know that Massive Whiff, Ruben Ripper, is a big fan of the Deckard, and the ban already coming out. On G.Guardian's side, Krenavast is a bit more flexible. He's willing to sort of branch out and try any healer in the pool.
Yeah, I think you and I were looking at it, and I believe that player has played 6 different supports across 6 games, which is just crazy, right?
Yeah, I don't think I can play 6 supports, period. So
I know, right?
In competition, that's a strong feat.
And, you brought up the Deckard, you brought up the white main, and they're just gone.
Yep. If the enemy team bans one, you pretty much have to ban the other, or risking letting them get a strong healer while you're left with one of the second tier. Obviously, Alexstrasza very strong on Infernal Shrines, so it's not necessarily the end of the world, but you'd prefer to take it off the table if you...
Malfurion, do you think that G.Guardian eSports might be angling for a first pick to Alexstrasza here, with the support choke going on right now?
I could see it. Ruben Ripper so far has only played 2 supports. It's been Deckard, it's been Malfurion. So it makes sense for G.Guardian to ban those out and say, we know you're comfortable on these heroes, let's try something a little different. Try to get them off their game. Now that 3 have been banned, if they pick up Alexstrasza, you've got... I mean, you still got Rhaegar, you still got Stukov. It's not like there's no good options left. But those top picks wouldn't be available with that.
Now the Varian ban is really interesting to me because when we were looking at these teams ahead of time, I really didn't see Varian standing out as a hero that G.Guardian seems to play a lot, but it's possible that Massive Whip knows something we don't.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
possible they've scrimmed. They maybe have done little hot dogs research outside of just what's in HGC.
yeah, and we've got Diablo going to be the first pick for G.Guardian. This is a great Diablo map.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that at all. Ebb's graphic on G Guardian loves the Diablo. He's played it every match he's had the opportunity to do so, except for one game where he did go Cho, which a little bit ambitious. We've got Urel and Alex Straza, two very strong heroes on this
Ooh,
map, being picked
beautiful
up
start.
for Massive Whiff.
Yeah, that's a beautiful start for Massive Whiff for sure. Alex Strasza, this is arguably her best map. She has so much shrine control. By the way, just real quick, I wanted to say hello to Twitch chat and Toffs1, Lothrian Games, and a Sego Poem. I hope I'm saying that right. If not, I apologize. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate that. So we've got Stukov and Genji are going to join the Diablo for G.Guardian eSports.
So Krenavast showing even more support flexibility. I don't recall if this is one that's been played before, but it is a strong hero on this map. That Lurking Arm is going to give you a lot of shrine control. It's very good for following up on the Diablo flips and picks as well. If you can get the slow into a silence, that's easy pickings for the rest of your team.
Definitely. They're taking out the Dahaka. So there will be no Dahaka available as an offlaner or a G-Guardian. There's plenty of other options. I mean, I know this is a great map for Sonya. Okay, and we've got ETC banned, which we did see. We do see that ETC and Diablo are the favorite tanks, actually, it looks like, so far for Massive Whiff, based on just 6 games, so, who knows, right? But that's what we're seeing so far. So this could be pushing, it looks like Zanzibar is their tank player, could be pushing Zanzibar into maybe a little discomfort, not as cozy type of a tank.
Yeah, G-Guardian has been very aggressive with taking away Massive Whiff's comfort heroes. I think that's a smart pick. When you know that a team is comfortable on heroes, and you know that they have this potentially smaller hero pool, if you can take that away and play the heroes you're comfortable with and ban the ones you're not, it makes them change up the game a little bit.
Yeah, and we've got the Garrosh and the Kael'thas coming out for Massive Whiff. So that's going to force G.Guardian to be very careful about their positioning, and they're going with the Leoric Jaina for their final 2 picks. I love the Jaina with the Leoric and the Diablo. Genji could be a nice follow-up. I like this draft from G.Guardian, I think.
Yeah, you've got a lot of sort of slows to set up for those big icy bursts of damage. There's not a ton of hard CC over here. You've got Diablo, obviously, who's going to be very threatening across the entire map. But luckily, there's nobody that really needs to be pinned down on the side of Massive Whiff at this point. No real dive heroes that you're going to need that protection for. Kael'thas and Raynor are going to be staying a little bit further back.
Yeah, so we get a Kael'thas Raynor. That is going to be fun. So both teams have good shrine control. I mean, Diablo great on the shrines, of course. We already talked about Alex Strauss, and then we've got the big AoE mages and Jaina and Kael'thas.
Yeah, getting to the shrine early is going to be a huge benefit for either of these teams. Obviously, if you're Massive Whiff, and you've got the Alex Straza, if you can get there early, take out 10, 15 of the skeletons, that's almost a guaranteed shrine in your favor. It's going to be, just with a Garrosh and Urel frontline, it's going to be really tough for G-Guardian to manage to force them off. So they'll have to be very aggressive in making sure they're the ones getting set up first, using the Jaina and the Diablo to sort of maintain their control.
Right. That makes sense. Do you favor one or the other, or you just think they both just need to execute their plan?
I'm leaning a bit towards Massive Whiff drafts. I look at G-Guardians, and their initiation is really a very... If you need Diablo charging in and getting an isolation on somebody, or potentially if you go Entomb, you could use that as well. Into a Garrosh and Urel and an Alex Straza that can just basically heal anyone up for free that isn't hard engaged on, they're going to need to play very smartly in these team fights and make sure they're focusing target damage, making sure that Stukov is isolating people, and immediately Jaina and Genji go in.
Yeah,
If
that
they can
makes
get on the
sense.
Rainer or the Kael'Thas, that's an easy kill. But it's gonna with Garrosh and Yrel, it's just gonna be tough for them, I feel.
Yeah, well, let's introduce our teams on the blue side. We do have Massive Whiff. This is Ruben Ripper on Alexstrasza, the Melelu on Garrosh, because Shizzle on Yrel, Zane playing the Rainer, and Zanzibar on Kael'Thas.
And over on the red side, we have Norian on Genji, Ebbs Graphic on Diablo, Krinivast on Stukov, Shadow Leaves on Jaina, and Grand Paladin on the Leor.
All right, so got Yrel heading up the top lane, and we've got some skirmishing going on in the middle, which is pretty typical.
Big flip onto the Leoric, but he looks like he's going to make it out just fine.
Oh!
Well, just fine is maybe a little bit of a strong term there, but
Yeah.
he will escape with his life.
Scary moment for Grand Paladin on the Leoric. I just pulled up the talents. Are we seeing anything? Oh, hold on. We've got to throw one to Diablo.
Nice silence there by Krinivast. Oh! And the return kill.
Yeah, we got a counter kill onto Alexstrasza. First blood going over to G.Guardian eSports.
Ebbs Graphic going to slink away, tap up at the well. He'll be healthy in no time. Both teams fairly even on the rotations here. G.Guardian with maybe a little bit of a lead, but the XP looking pretty even.
So we do have a Mana Addict for Kael'Thas, and Jaina also going for the Globe Quest with Fingers of Frost.
See that Zane on Rainer is going with the ace in the hole, even after it's been slightly nerfed down to 15% bonus damage on those slowed and stunned heroes. Haven't had a
Leaves falls on the Jaina. Tons of damage coming out from KT.
Yeah, that's just if KT can get you backed up like that, he is gonna have a field day. You can see it, the living bombs and the flame strikes just wreaking havoc.
So we had two kills there for Massive Whiff, one counter kill by G.Guardian. Our first shrine is going to be toward the bottom lane, in between middle and bottom.
Yeah, Massive Wolf will have plenty of time to clear out this Merc camp mid. And with both teams at 4 and far away from 7, we should be seeing a pretty even fight here over this first shrine.
This is about the time you expect teams to start grabbing camps. Although it looks like G.Guardian eSports wants to kind of get this territory claimed early.
Yeah, they're posturing very aggressively, not letting Massive Whiff take camps or rotate safely. Letting them know that they're going to be the ones to set up on this shrine, and for good reason. Again, if you let that Alexstrasza Kael'Thas set up first, you're going to have trouble. If you can get there first and start the control for yourself, you're forcing them to come in on you.
Right, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Got Diablo tossed.
He's got... Oh, well, the rest of the team comes in to get the damage down, but he is looking pretty healthy.
Garrosh getting very low.
Oh, nice dash in from Norian.
Everybody's on fire.
The living bombs. Yrel is going to chase down Genji and secure the counter kill. Dragon form popped. Ruben Ripper moving in on the Leoric.
Oh, Leoric's gonna go down as well. So we talked about Alexstrasza being strong on this map, and here she is dragging her way onto that shrine.
Yeah, they're on there now. They've taken the lead, both in experience and in skeletal defenders. G.Guardian going to have to move quickly if they want to do something before Massive Whiff reaches 7.
Yeah, they're getting to that point where you either have to move in or you need to look for some value elsewhere.
Got an isolation here, but it's on to K Shizzled on that Yrel. That's a tough target to take down. Leoric chased down for the counter.
Yeah. Massive Whiff doing a great job fending off G.Guardian, and they are going to hit the very first Punisher.
Yeah, they've hit their 7s. They've got the Punisher. They're going to be looking to make some noise down here in the bot lane. With Kael'Thas, with Rainer, that's some pretty decent siege damage. We'll definitely be looking at the front wall. This fort may be in trouble if G.Guardian can't find those 7s quickly. They've already got Leoric trying to soak it up in the top.
Yep, they had a nice bait of the Punisher back. It's already about a third health.
Garrosh looking for the engage. Flips Ebb's graphic on the Diablo. The Kael'thas follows up, but it's just not enough damage. The Lord of Terror, healthy as always.
So that's a good defense there by G.Guardian. Let's see
Very
what's
well
going on the other lanes. Middle's pretty even. And actually top's pretty even. So both teams doing a good job of keeping their structures healthy.
Leoric and Yrel just sort of dancing back and forth, soaking top and mid.
On the bottom.
But it looks like Leoric will be rotating bot here. Try to help his team out in this fight.
Yeah, we got a friendly throw to save, get KT back into a safe area. Look at the fire just spreading all over G.Guardian.
Yeah, Stukov having to pop his trait very early to keep his team healthy here. May just be the story of how these fights go. They've got a very strong engage on the side of Massive Whiff.
Rel heading back up to that top lane. We do see some structure damage on the front walls of some of these lanes.
Each team just going to take their own siege camps here, it looks like. Happy to concede the rest. But Massive Whiff might be looking for an invade here. Diablo alone on that shrine for too long. Doesn't have the damage to clear it out.
This is a 4v4, so...
Maloo just walks right up.
That is the power of Garrosh being so scary. Anytime Garrosh gets near you, it's just you just want to run away, you know?
A Garrosh on point with Dragon Form behind. G.Guardian really doesn't have any choice but to just walk out and let them have the siege camp.
Now, doesn't that mean that they will not have the dragon available for the next shrine?
It probably does, which is not ideal, but I think Massive Whiff knows they'll have 10s. G.Guardian may or may not be able to get there depending on how this plays out. So they may just be thinking that the ults are going to be enough to gain them control.
Let's show talents again for everybody. Let's talk about the heroics we see coming in for Massive Whiff. We do have Cleansing Flame, Warlord's Challenge, so big taunt from the Garrosh. We got Ardent Defender from Yrel, Rainer's Raiders, and the Phoenix for KT.
Yeah, Phoenix and Cleansing Flame is just more of that area denial strength. Into a Phoenix, into a Dragon Queen that can go Cleansing Flame. Any sort of big clumped up team fight, Massive Whiff just has a ton of damage ready to go out on a moment's notice. And G.Guardian, with just a Jaina, it's going to be tough to secure any kills. They cannot get through this front line onto the squishy back line. And Garrosh and Yrel are not going to go down no matter how much ice you dump on them.
Yeah, that's true. Those are two of the most self-sustaining warriors in the game right now.
We do see Ring of Frost and Entomb, so they're looking for the big flanks, the big blow-ups, which I think is the right choice here. A poke fight gonna be rough. Dragon Blade, massive shove, and Apocalypse. Okay.
All right. So yeah, were you thinking the breath into the Entomb targets? Is that what you were kind of thinking would happen?
I was sort of thinking that, but I can absolutely see the value with Apocalypse here. APOC sets up for Ring sets up for APOC, Entomb sets up for both. It's a way of getting that isolation and that separation onto a single target they've been looking for. If the rest of their team is rooted and stunned halfway across, they're not going to be able to join in. Diablo goes in with the APOC. Ardent Defender popped. Cleansing Flame is out. Ring of Frost. Everyone hitting R. And two goes down onto Zanzibar. The taunt onto Diablo.
How has nobody died yet for...
I don't know.
G.Guardian.
Zanzibar being chased down by Genji, but the counter kill's coming onto Garrosh. K-Shizzle's looking for it.
Paladin.
Oh, the Bright Hope lands. Grand Paladin still up, and now K-Shizzle's in trouble. Maloo doing his best to peel.
Wow.
Yrel will get out, as will Alexstrasza. Still only 20 skeletal defenders for each side.
Yeah, I was going to say the good news is that took a while to all happen, so we do have the KT just now resting for Massive Whiff. We'll see if he can get back here in time.
Looking to take the fight. Dragon Queen's out. Raynor has shown back up. And they're actually pushing G.Guardian off. Both got about 30 skeletal defenders now.
KT now with the rest of his team. We're back to 5v5.
Oh, an Entomb onto Maloo. All the damage comes down, but a big taunt keeps him up.
Oh, the damage coming out. Diablo is down. Phoenix
Tanks
is
down
out.
on both sides. Massive Whiff finishes it off just in time, though. Wow.
Wow. With the power of the dragon, they took on a 4v5 and basically completely pushed G.Guardian off the shrine.
Yeah, that was some excellent play by Massive Whiff. Oh, we've got Urel isolating Eb graphics, and Diablo goes down. Without the souls, he just doesn't have the tankiness.
Yeah, I think G.Guardian just needs to back up, be safe. That Punisher is going to jump on someone else, and we don't want to see them stunned, you know, out in front of their keep wall, and that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, you just bait it over. You say, the fort's gone, as they did. Let it go. Just protect the keep.
Yeah, so this Punisher is going to fall, but Massive Whiff picks up the front gate of the middle keep here. I mean, that was a pretty good round for them.
Yeah, they've got their 13s. They're going to steal G.Guardian Siege Camp, and I bet they're about to go push in bot. That's exactly where they're headed. This is going to be another fort likely going down if G.Guardian can't respond. But they've got Leoric top. They're trying to soak those 13s.
Yeah, we've also, we got a 14 to 12 talent. We got a talent tier advantage for Massive Whip. So if you're going to push on the fort, now's a really good time to do that.
They take it down. They're taking the Siege Camp bot as well. They're looking for Norian, but he's Genji. He's going to be just fine, I think, unless something very badly goes wrong. Massive Whiff with almost a 2-level lead now at this point.
Look at all the blue merc camps. Massive Whiff is just doing such a great job creating lane pressure with these merc camps, pushing.
Yeah, it's very smart of them. A lot of teams will take the shrine capture comp and they'll get the shrine, but then they'll just push down with the, the immortal or the immortal or Punisher or whatever it is, and won't quite. They'll get like a fort down, but they won't do anything else with it. Massive Whiff doing a great job here. The second they see that they're not going to get anything more done, they head off to another lane to get value there.
Right, and here they go again. Another invade on the Bruiser camp, but this time G.Guardian eSports is ready to fight.
G.Guardian has their 13. They're on an equal talent tier. Big Ring of Frost goes down. Genji wreaking havoc in the backline. But Jaina and Diablo go down.
Paladin set on fire. The camp
Genji
does
so much
go
damage.
over to Massive Whiff.
Secure the kill.
Oh, Genji!
There's a throw. Uriel finishes the job. That's 4 kills from Massive Whiff. They've got 16. G.Guardian is down for 20 seconds. Everyone except Stukov is the only one left to defend this top keep.
Yeah, and they've got that Bruiser camp pushing in with them as well. I think this could be a keep for Massive Whiff.
There's a Siege camp mid. There's a Siege camp bottom. They're pushing every lane at once, and G.Guardian just now rezzing. How will they respond?
Here comes Diablo. Keep is down. Looks like Massive Whiff is going to be happy with that and go ahead and back out. Wow.
Oh, if they back out, but now they're re-engaging mid. They're all here. A lot of damage on Norian.
They've got talent tier again. 16.
Big root by Stukov. It's not enough, though. K-Shizzle and Dimalumalu are just going to walk right out.
Wow, and let's see, that's 2 keeps now. The bottom keep is still healthy.
Yeah. Massive Whiff doesn't get any kills there, but they don't need them. If they've got 2 keeps and they're up 17 to 14 with another shrine popping, they've got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Oh, I would think so. 3 levels, that is very solid. What do you do as G.Guardian eSports at this point, Trey? What do you think they can do?
Well, you've lucked down that the shrine is spawning bottom. That means you do have that keep there to sort of defend against this push. So the game's absolutely not over. With all the shrine control that Massive Whiff has, I don't know that a fight on the shrine is going to work. You maybe look for a flank after the Immortal's taken. But it looks like G.Guardian's just going to go in. Got
so much fire damage going out from Kael'thas.
They're all... G.Guardian almost down to half health. A lot of damage on the Diablo, but a big Ring of Frost into a big APOC. Dragon Blade comes out. We've got 1 kill, 2 kills. Oh my.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
So at the end of that, Jaina took out Kael'thas, Garrosh, and Alexstrasza. We also have Genji falling as well.
G.Guardian has to move fast. Massive Whiff has 39, and Uriel claims the 40th. She pays for it with her life. But
oh my goodness.
That's another Punisher picked up for Massive Whiff.
Yeah, so obviously they won't really be able to support it, but it means their opponent didn't get the Punisher, so yeah. I suppose that is good. And look at the lanes. The lanes are so pushed out. I think this is actually fine for Massive Whiff.
Yeah, it allows Leoric to quickly double soak, while the other 4 of them defend bot. With only Raynor up, Massive Whiff can't push in, so G.Guardian will be able to burn this down and save their keep no problem. They've got their 16s. Massive Whiff has just hit 18. So if they take their next fight, they'll be on an even talent tier.
Yeah,
This isn't It's not necessarily the tack I would have taken going in for the big team fight on the shrine, but boy, did it work out for G.Guardian here.
Zane pulling off the risky play of getting that camp right above where all of G.Guardian eSports was fighting that Punisher. But hey, he gets it.
Yeah. He steals the camp, and he was looking for bot. He backs off to wait for the rest of his team, who's picking up Massive Whiff's own siege camp.
Right.
They'll now move in, and bot is 4, but G.Guardian has 5 here, bot.
Yeah, and here
Will comes
comes
and join the
the
fight,
other
though.
5 as well. So we've got 5v5 over this bottom camp.
Shadow leaves Norian both very low. This Kael'thas damage is just adds up quick. Massive Whiff will take the bottom siege camp. G.Guardian has to back out.
Yeah, I mean, their health bars of G.Guardian. Okay, they just actually got a huge heal from Stukov, so they are back up to full health. See how far Massive Whiff wants to take this.
They look like they're interested in push and keep. They're working on the wall now. They've got one tower down, and here comes the gate. Will they back off, or will they go all the way?
Oh,
Big Massive Whiff from Grinabas Cicero way out of the fight.
Urel's in a timeout.
Massive Whiff happy to stick around, though.
Look at these catapults. Look at these catapults and these merc camps pushing in all over the core.
So much pressure for G.Guardian. Jaina has to be back clearing, though. She's the only one with the AoE damage, but they need her in the fight. She comes in to help another Massive Whiff. Garrosh is in timeout as well.
This keeps slowly getting picked down by Massive Whiff.
Cleansing Flame comes out. Urel happy to just stay in here. Here comes Dragon Blade. Norian in the backline looking for a kill on Dimalumalu, but gets taunted. Pushed out by the Dragon Queen. And Kael'thas will go down just before that big Dragon Queen
will fall on the Leoric. Shadow Leaves in trouble. It's gonna go down. This could be game. Look at the core. Look at all of the... Yeah, there's just so much pressure.
Norian very low. Oh. Yep. It's just that macro pressure. They couldn't... G.Guardian couldn't commit to the fight bot when they had to clear their top and mid lanes. And that let Massive Whiff just control the fight, control the space, force that keep, and get the picks they needed.
Yeah, so game 1, going over to Massive Whiff. I just pulled up the end game stats, just so, we can see if you see anything interesting. So it was 16-11 in kills, so, it wasn't one-sided by any stretch.
No, very even game up till...
Look at the hero damage for Kael'thas. 70k.
Wow, it's just hard to... Even as Stukov, you've got the big heals, but into that much AoE spread damage, it's going to be tough for any healer.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think, well, for me, it seemed like a story of the lane pressure that Massive Whiff was able to create. They had a lot of camp invades. They were constantly making sure they had, mercs pushing in all of the lanes. I think that seemed to me to be the difference in the game.
I would agree. The front line that Massive Whiff has here, this Garrosh, this Urel with the Alexstrasza backing them up, there was just no way G.Guardian could get through it with Jaina and Genji. It's a lot of burst damage, but I mean, Garrosh just is so tanky. Urel has so much sustain. Garrosh has the Indomitable, so even if you get these big Rings of Frost, these big apocalypses, he just walks right out. They just didn't have a way to get to that back line. An excellent job by the tanks on Massive Whiff, controlling the space there.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. I'm starting to get the lobby set up for game 2 because I can't wait to see what happens. Let me update the score. That's an easy thing to forget to do. All right. Taking a peek real quick at Twitch chat. Lots of chatting going on. I love to see this. We've got, a lot of talk about some of these team fights. And hello, Segatai, Lothrian Games, Ektar. I saw Aura up there earlier. Dragon Force Fox, hello. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't want to watch a game like this? This is exciting Div B hots we've got here. An excellent game 1 between two very competitive teams.
So much action. Here. So next, we are actually heading off to Dragonshire, and this is going to be the map choice of G.Guardian eSports. So, Trape, what do you think? Do you think, since this is their map pick, we might see G.Guardian have a little bit of an upper hand here?
I think a lot of it may come down to the drafting again. I think that the draft one, it seemed like people were very interested in denying picks for the other team, and maybe not necessarily. It seemed like they weren't necessarily making the most practiced, well-rounded comp for themselves, so much as just trying to steal away picks that the other team wanted. I'll be interested to see if there's some adaptation here, and maybe we see a little bit less stealing focus. But yeah, if it's your map, obviously there's a level of comfort that goes in with that.
Of course.
You've got a strategy and a plan ready to go. So game one actually, very close up until the end there. I think that G.Guardian is very, very far away from out of this.
Oh yeah, for sure. The team fight seemed, really even. I think Kael'thas definitely stood out because, you just see everybody on fire for G.Guardians. Hard to miss, right? And that was just chunking so many people down and making it difficult for them to sustain through that team fight.
Yeah, and G.Guardian's draft is a very blow-up, hard-engaged draft, again, with the Ring, with the Entomb, the Apocalypse of Dragonblade. They're looking for stun the whole team, blow the whole team up. And almost every one of those fights, you see Massive Whiff, their whole backline at a 5th health. Alex Straza desperately trying to keep everyone up. Those could have swung the other way, I think, very easily. It's really a big credit to Garrosh, I would say, for nailing those taunts, protecting his backline when he needed to do so.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I would not be surprised if the Garrosh was not allowed through this game.
Yeah, for sure. And here we go, right into game 2. We're keeping the action rolling. We've got Massive Whiff up 1-0 on G.Guardian eSports, and I can't wait to see what happens in this game. So Massive Whiff is going to have first pick, first ban this time.
Mm-hmm.
Lothrian Games in chat is saying, I think the call there is actually for G.Guardians to give the keep and push out their lane so they can have some time, then stop Whiff bot into the core before Whiff gets 20. Yeah, they were definitely in a tough position. That was a tough call there. Yeah,
if it was just the catapults and the minions, I think you're fine. Adding those merc camps makes it a whole different story.
For sure. So we've got a white man ban coming out for Massive Whiff, and then the Urel is being banned by G.Guardian eSports.
Interesting. So we may get to see some Deckard action here after all. Or there's obviously 2 more bans left to go. I think Deckard and the Diablo are the 2 that may be coming our way. There's the Diablo.
Yep, and this is probably going to be the Deckard since Massive Whiff has first pick.
Yeah.
I doubt that G.Guardian eSports is going to want them to have that Deckard, but we'll see. I mean, there's lots of different choices that can be made that, it's not, none of them are necessarily wrong, just different. They're thinking about it.
They're taking their time. Well, it's a big decision. There's a lot of scary heroes there. It will be the Garrosh.
Okay.
Okay, so Deckard up, Azmodan up.
Mm-hmm. And so is ETC, which I know is a tank that it looks like Massive Whiff likes to use. So see what they decide to do. I'm thinking Deckard and either ETC if they really want it. If they don't, they're not stressing over the ETC, then that definitely could come later.
It is the Deckard. I could see them going for ETC in the 2 and 3 picks.
Yeah.
I doubt G.Guardian will steal that away here. That's with Johanna and Murden still available. But it's always an option. Both these teams clearly have scouted the others.
It's going to be Dahaka. Dahaka's so good on this map. And the Murden. So we've got G.Guardian going for their front line right off the bat.
Okay. Yeah, so they're likely ceding the ETC over to Massive Whiff then.
So if you're a Massive Whiff, do you jump on some DPS here? Maybe take away, like a Jaina or, what some of the other, maybe the Genji.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
ETC, and they'll take the Genji as well. Yeah, when you've got a Murder, when you've got a Dahaka, you're looking for an isolation pick comp. You're looking to stun people, to pull them back, and to likely just blow up those. So I'm expecting some burst damage over on the side of G.Guardian here.
Yeah.
Massive Whiff. Yeah, the Jaina being up would be a solid ban. The Kael'Thas would be a solid ban. Depends sort of what they want to go for themselves.
Got Blaze being taken out.
They're looking for a strong solo lane matchup here. The Urel is still open. The Malthael is still open.
No, Yrel got banned.
Oh, Urel super banned, didn't
Yeah,
she? Okay.
super banned. So super
Then, yeah.
banned.
The base pick makes even more sense then. If you're taking those out, you're basically... You're really limiting the options here for Massive Whiff.
Alright, no Greymane.
Greymane. Yeah, they don't want that big bursty follow-up for any isolations here. Especially when you've got the ETC, who's sort of not the most resilient of frontliners.
How important do you feel it is for Massive Whiff to have another warrior as their offlaner? Do you think they could get away with something like, I don't know, like a Thrall or a Phoenix or something like that in the offlane?
It's a little odd. On Dragonshire into Dahaka, your team already knows they're going to be running into 4v5. Dahaka's going to be burrowing down and making those fights into that kind of thing. So I feel like you may just play for dominance in the solo lane and try to lessen the impact of that global. Just because if you pick a great team fight team, but your solo laner's always stuck up top, they're not getting the most value.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
I could see Malthael for the camps in the clear, and I could see something a little less traditional, some sort of specialist. Or I could see Thrall, because there he is.
We got Thrall and Hanzo. Over on the other side, we had Alexstrasza and Kael'Thas coming out for G.Guardian. So taking that Kael'Thas away from Massive Whiff, they're like, nope.
I'd be taking it away if I were in their shoes. It was a dominating force last game.
What do you think about the Hanzo here? I know Hanzo's a hero that you have a lot of experience with. What do you think about him here for Massive Whiff?
Hanzo these days is it's pretty much always that full W build, all in the scatter arrow. It's great for the Merc camp taking. That can be very powerful in the 4-man on this map because you've got the siege camps right there and the night camp bottom. And if you can control bottom lane in those Merc camps, then you've got a lot of push.
Okay.
I don't necessarily love it into the team fight here. Muradin and Dahaka, if they land Stormboats, if they start isolating him, his low health bar means that he's going to go down very fast into a Kael'Thas.
Yeah.
And I'm not totally sold on the damage that he'll bring with that build until level 16.
Okay. And then we got Tychus. Tychus for G.Guardian is going to fill out their roster. What do you think?
I like the Tychus pick a lot.
Okay.
With Hanzo and Genji and Deckard, that ETC is going to be doing a lot of frontlining, and he's going to have some trouble with his health bar because he's a much more of a sustain tank. Tychus, if he gets up in there, he can do a lot of damage very quickly. Don't have a lot of ways of him from doing that necessarily.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, actually. I know that is kind of the knock on ETC right now and why we don't see him as much. It's not that he doesn't bring some great tools. The problem is he feels like he can get kind of shredded down. And I think you're right. That Tychus pick is a great example of, could be a problem.
Yeah, ETC wants to be power sliding in, isolating people and getting picks, and then making big plays with the stage dive and the mosh pit. And I just don't... Unless he can get in on that Kael'Thas, I think the Tychus and the Muradin are just going to be too tanky for him to... You've only got a Genji and a Hanzo for damage, especially early game. It's going to be tough to secure those kills.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see how this plays out. And we are just getting into the game here, and let's introduce our teams on the blue side. We have Massive Whiff. We're going to have Ruben Ripper on Deckard. Demalelu, hopefully I'm saying it right, is on Hanzo. Zane playing Genji, Zanzibar on ETC, and K Shizzle on Thrall.
And over on the red side, we have Norian on the Tychus, Krenavast on the Alexstrasza, Ebbs Graphic on the Muradin, Grand Paladin on Dahaka, and Shadow Leaves on the Kael'Thas.
All right.
And already, Muradin taking the perfect storm over the third wind. Their team is looking hard for those quick engages and those quick pickoffs. As that Q damage builds up on his Stormbolt, that's going to get scary real fast with the Kael'Thas and a Tychus in there to follow.
Right, and you were correct. We do have the simple geometry W build, if you will, coming out for Hanzo. And it's going to be Echo the Elements for Thrall, so no crash landing.
Yeah. Crash Lightning, very difficult to stack when you're on the off lane for most of the game. So, not surprised by that pick. Both team solo laners are headed up.
Ooh, Murden going
got a little
really
bit of a brawl
deep
here,
here.
mid. Alright, Edge Graphic taking some damage, but he's Murden. He's feeling fine. He'll get healed up by a big Alex draws a circle, and he's right back at it.
We got Massive Whiff moving aggressively as 4. Clearing the bottom lane.
Massive Whiff is gonna have some early game troubles here with their wave clear. The Kael'thas really is gonna give G.Guardian pretty much all they need. Massive Whiff is looking at Genji, Hanzo. I mean, they'll clear the wave, but it's not going to be anywhere near as fast.
Massive Whiff, did you see it was already going in for an invade on the camp here? Starting things off with a bang.
Feeling a little cheeky. I mean, it worked last game. I could see why they'd go back to it.
I really
coming
like...
in, though. Ruben Ripper looking alone. The isolation onto Deckard. The whole team's there.
What a drag by Grand Paladin on the Dahaka.
Yeah, very, very nice. Oh, but the counter kill picked up by Zane as Murden does go down.
I like that G.Guardian is trying to nip that in the bud, you know, and be like, that might have worked last game, but not this time.
They've got the Kael'thas this time. They've got the area control. Massive Whiff's not going to be able to get away with it as well as they did last.
We've got K Shizzle picking up that top shrine for Massive Whiff. And Zanzibar on the ETC grabbing the bottom. So we do have a Massive Whiff in control of the dragon. Genji trying to channel. Kael'thas is not able to stop it. The first dragon going over to Massive Whiff.
Very nice. A very quick pickup there. Yeah, they were getting chased off the bot shrine, but they held it for just long enough to make sure that Genji could get in there. Well played.
And you mentioned struggling a little bit in the early game, so it sounds like this is exactly what Massive Whiff needed. An early dragon to kind of help offset that a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to take a lot of pressure off of them. As they get these higher levels, as Hanzo gets more of those scatter arrow talents, the wave clear is going to be less and less of an issue. So the quicker they can get there, and the closer they can keep the game until they do, the better shape they'll be in.
Ooh. Oh.
A little bit of communication issues there.
Yeah.
Norian will get away from the dragon punt.
Yeah, that was too bad. They seem to have him locked down, too.
Massive Whiff still pushing in and getting... These health bars are getting low on the side of G.Guardian.
Yep, dragon is gone. So, not a lot. I mean, it is the first dragon, so not a lot is expected. They did get one of the towers in the bottom. Bottom lane's pretty important on this map.
Massive Whiff can be happy just taking it off the table. With this comp, their big concern is really getting behind early and getting snowballed. So just getting it, making sure that G.Guardian can't do anything with that dragon, that's a win for them. And now Massive Whiff rotating up to take their own camp.
Oh, Murden. But Murden's Murden, right? Off he goes.
Yeah.
You really just have to catch Murden after you see him use his jump, and then you might have a shot.
Yeah, with Deckard, with ETC, you've got a lot of those sort of lockdown tools, but because of the delay on Deckard's skills, it can be a bit tricky to time them all up exactly right.
We do have a talent tier temporarily for Massive Whiff. They're pushing in on this bottom gate with their Merc camp. Deckard
Kane is going to go with the cube reducing hero damage dealt at level 7. I would think you potentially might want Emerald here into the Alexstrasza, because she has very telegraph large burst heals. But you can also get a lot of damage out there because that Kael'thas is going to be so much burst. You can land the cube on him well, that's going to shut him down a lot.
Right.
I'm sure ETC will appreciate the help.
Definitely. Massive Whip pushing in to get that well. That's huge. For
another burrow lockdown onto Dimalu. And yeah, this is going to be the problem with Hanzo all game.
Yeah.
Is that
if he gets caught, he's done, right?
Yeah, the jump helps you escape, but you're stunned. You're not jumping anywhere.
Right.
However, every time this happens, Thrall's left alone up top. Taka has burrowed down, so he has to do the long, slow walk. Thrall's going to be able to take this top shrine and just clear some waves, help his team get an even further EXP lead. Well done by K-Shizzle.
Beautiful root by Ruben Ripper on the Deckard. We've got Dragon Queen popped.
They're moving in on Zanzibar. The slide interrupted. He'll be going down. Yeah, with all 5 down here. Bot lane is... It's G.Guardian zone for the...
But like you said, we've got Thrall up here, just kind of whittling down the top gate, getting the experience in the top lane.
Massive Whiff hits 9 first. Then they've got not a huge lead XP-wise, but enough that they'll likely have a brief window of 10 where G.Guardian doesn't have theirs. It'll be interesting to see what they can make happen with.
Yeah, and so we see Norian on the Tekis working on the siege camp while the rest of his team heads down to the bottom. But you know what? Massive Whip has sniffed this out, and here we go again.
They're looking for an engage. Deckard Root is out. That's going to be a nice bro by Grand Paladin. A nice drag, actually. The damage on Zanzibar is adding up very
wow. KT putting out tons
gonna
of
slide
damage.
out. He has to watch out for these living bombs. Oh, okay.
Ruben Ripper is going to fall on the Deckard, and the camp does go over to G.Guardian. So their aggressive camp taking was successful, and they're probably going to get this entire front gate, maybe the well, with this Merc camp.
They absolutely are. Yeah, Deckard has very strong system. Oh, Zane in the background. Murden jumps on him, but he will just barely get out. The Tychus damage not quite quick enough.
Both teams with 10s. You see the Odin popped there. What else do we see here? We got Lifebinder.
Yeah, Pyroblast coming out immediately.
Oh, wow. And down goes Hanzo. This
yeah,
fort's gone now, I think. Yeah?
Got Stay a While on this end, Dragon's Arrow, Earthquake, Dragon Blade, and the Mosh Pit on the side of Massive Whiff. Nothing too surprising there, I wouldn't say.
Troll of the Shrines over to G.Guardian. Does not look like Murden's going to be able to pick up the dragon, though. We've got Zane on the Genji there to make sure that doesn't happen.
Is going to be Lifebinder rather than Cleansing Flame this game from the Alexstrasza. That means Massive Whiff will have to be very careful about where they put their damage, because if they dump it all into the tanks and the tanks get Lifebindered, well, not a lot of value there. They'll have to make sure they're getting in on that back line.
Right, that makes sense. Alright, now we've got the shrines kind of just passing back and forth on control. It was Massive Whiffs, but now each team has a shrine, so we do have G.Guardian eSports moving in pretty aggressively onto this this keep wall here in the bottom lane.
That's a lot of Siege Giants they have behind this minion wave. They could get some push here, but it looks like they may...
Uh-oh. Demalu is in no man's land.
Yeah, the jump already used. A nice Dragon's Arrow will save him for a bit, but it's not enough. A Mosh Pit is out.
Dragon Blade.
Lifebinder goes out, though, and the damage is all healed right back up. Zane looking to make something happen.
Oh, so close. Genji was doing a lot of damage with that Dragon Blade, but they were not able to get any kills.
Yeah, Zane's been playing well on the Genji. He's been getting into the backline and disrupting, but Alexstrasza's healing has just been too much so far. Haven't been able to secure the kills that he's been wanting to get.
Oh, Shizzle on the throw! It popped Earthquake in the top to try to help get that shrine. Wasn't able to do it, but did allow Brawl to escape.
Zanzibar mid doing his best on ETC to stop the interrupt the Dragon Knight, but with 4 members of G.Guardian there, they're just able to push him back. G.Guardian will pick up their Dragon Knight.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're going to have Massive Whiff waiting on their heroics to come back. All heroics are now up for G.Guardian eSports, and there is the Odin.
Not to mention G.Guardian has their 13s, whereas Massive Whiff has all just hit 12. The advantage will be on G.Guardian's side for this fight. They're moving in on the keep. Stay a While on this thing comes out, hits the Tychus, but nothing else. There's no follow-up.
Keep slowly falling. It's half health. Dragon, it looks like they're gonna move out. Oh, nice
Dragon's Arrow from Hanzo.
Followed by a beautiful root.
Out, but Dragon Queen popped. Alexstrasza heals it all. A drag onto ETC, and he goes down. The isolation onto Kishizo on the Hanzo. He goes down. Zane very far forward as they're moving in. Is there CC? A Stormbolt lands. Another trag!
Oh my
3
goodness.
kills for G.Guardian, and they are happy to take this keep down.
Oh yeah. That Dahaka is just playing out of his mind right now. Grand Paladin,
Absolutely.
just an amazing game on the Dahaka so far.
I can just sense the frustration. Insane on this Genji. He wants to move in there. He wants to get these kills, but they don't have the setup damage. They've got some lockdown with Deckard and ETC, but Thrall's off in the top lane most of the time, and Hanzo, the damage on Scatter Arrow just isn't consistent enough until 16 to get the team low. So Genji can't go in. He can't get those resets.
Right. Lothran Games just got back. Is this G.Guardian's map pick? Yes, it is. And I think we, see that this clearly is a map that they're pretty solid on. Looking good here, 2-level lead. Now we've got them invading onto Massive Whiff's siege camp. But Massive Whiff, they don't want to just give it away without a fight. But they might have to.
Yeah, G.Guardian doesn't have their 16s yet, so this is a potential chance for Massive Whiff. Stay a while, hits Muradin. Dragon's Arrow to follow up, goes right through, but a big pop.
Oh, huge Mosh!
Same pops the Dragon Blade. He's going out, but Alex Strauza gets the circle out, but it doesn't pop the heal in time. Tychus is in trouble, but Lifebinder will bring him back full. Thane's too low, he can't go back in. Zanzibar actually in a little bit of trouble here as Tychus is looking to secure something, but Odin will end before he can land the kill.
So they do get the kill on Kael'thas, but it took every single heroic.
Yeah, that was almost the perfect setup for Massive Whiff, and they still only could get away with the one kill. It's unfortunate to say that you need to catch everyone in those mosh pits, but you may need to. If Alex Strauss is out, she can heal everyone up. If Muradin's out, he can interrupt. If Tychus is out, he can interrupt. It's not an easy game for ETC to play here.
Oh, I agree. It would have been great if that Stay a While and Listen had been able to catch more than just the one. We do see ETC falling again to the Tychus. ETC just kind of struggling on that front line, which we were worried about, so...
Yeah. And he's playing well. It's not as though he's playing poorly.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just that
totally.
It's a very, very tough composition to play an ETC into. That's the risk of taking the ETC with one of your first picks. It's a comfort hero, and you're getting that hero, but you're letting the other team sort of control how the game will go. G.Guardian drafted well to make sure.
Zane solo on Genji and is on fire, is gonna fall.
A very nice Dragon's Arrow there from Dimalumalu to stop G.Guardian in their tracks, but the damage out was just enough to secure the kill onto Hanzo anyway.
The Haka fighting with Thrall up here in the top, trying to get Shrine control. That was a beautiful tongue, keeping Thrall off the Shrine so that he could actually capture it. That was a great play by Grand Paladin.
Another tongue coming out. Oh, Edge Graphic jumps in on Muradin, and that's the kill secured on the Thrall.
And another thing that's secured with that is another dragon.
Indeed, it is. Yeah, defeating Frenzy onto Haka getting a ton of value here. Every basic attack will reduce the cooldown of that drag by 2 seconds. And in these 1v1 engagements with Thrall, where Thrall has to stay in to get that healing, he can just attack, and the drag has incredible uptime.
Yeah, so we've got the Dragon Knight working on the middle fort.
Mosh is up, Dragon Blade's up, Stay a While's up. Stay a While's out, but interrupted, even though it lands on some good targets.
It did go on cooldown, yep.
Yeah.
Dragon Arrow is back up. Ooh, this could be an opportunity right here, possibly, for Massive Whiff.
Yeah, they need just a big engage with all of the heroics overlapping. There's a couple on cooldown, but you've still got Mosh, Dragon Blade, Dragon's Arrow. This is still a fight they can turn around.
Yeah, let's see. They might be waiting for Odin to fall
Zanzibar's
off.
looking for the flank. He goes in, just goes with the face melt for knockback rather than going into the Mosh. Deckard lands a big scroll of sealing, but Genji...
Oh, that's...
Pyroblast out onto K-Shizzle. There's no way he can get enough healing there.
Oh,
never mind.
Beautiful.
He survives. Skin of his teeth. Well done.
This, I think, though, is going to give the keep over to G.Guardian.
Dragon Queen out and Genji not up. He goes for the Mosh, but it's interrupted. The core is so low.
It's falling. 10%. Oh, and it is going to be game. This time going over to G.Guardian eSports.
Yeah, both games actually playing out very similarly with these big coordinated blow-up engagements that almost worked and couldn't quite get the kills they needed to. Well played by both teams. A very well-earned draw.
Yeah, so I pulled up the stats. This time it was a little more skewed. We had 13 kills to 2 kills with that That being G.Guardian eSports with the 13 kills. Let's take a look at these stats. Thrall, of course, getting lots of siege damage. We saw him alone a lot in that top lane. Tychus, I think that Tychus pick really might have been a big difference maker for G Guardian into that ETC. What do you think, Trey?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. There's because of that squishy backline, he needs to be going up and isolating people and power sliding in and making plays. And the second he does, there's drags, storm bolts, gravity lapses, miniguns. There's so much damage in CC waiting for him. There was just almost no way for them to get the fight they wanted.
Yeah, I
And look at
am.
that Alexstrasza healing too. You can see that Massive Whiff put out so much damage. This Hanzo and this Genji and this Thrall doing everything they can, but without the ability to finish those kills, Alexstrasza is more than happy to just heal those guys right back up.
Oh, for sure.
Especially with
Let's
Life Blossom at 7.
let's swap up into lobby 1 on Discord. So hopefully we can get Norian in for an interview.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, meet you up there. And we're back. Hey, Norian! Congratulations
Hey.
on picking up the win in game 2 there.
That was pretty intense.
First of all, what a great series. It felt so, like you said, I think intense was the perfect description. Just kind of from start to finish, 2 very intense games. How are you guys feeling right now?
All right, now we're feeling pretty good. It's our first time playing with this roster in particular. Well, since the swap from the team captain anyway. It feels good to be able just to get one win.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely we'll get to game 2, but let's start with game 1. So we were on Infernal Shrines, and walk us through your draft. Did you get everything that you were looking for in your draft, or did you get heroes banned out that you were hoping to get?
Pretty much the draft went the way we wanted it to, but the rest of the game didn't. Like, we had planned it all throughout before while we were waiting to get the game started, and we just got everything that we did want. We got Genji, we got Diablo, got Janet, got everything. The only thing we didn't get was the Alexstrasza, which they took. And
Yeah.
did very well on, I do want to say.
Yeah. So do you feel that Alexstrasza was one of the big issues for your team in game 1?
I wouldn't really say so, but it did give us a little bit of trouble. They played the Alex quite well.
Right. The other thing that we kind of noticed in game 1 was it seemed like there was a lot of lane pressure coming from Massive Whiff. They kept invading your camps, and it seemed like there were constantly mercs pushing down the lane. That was a little bit of a struggle to keep up with, and then you did end up with quite a lot of catapults, which are so hard to defend. While you're trying to also team fight.
Yeah. Overall, they played the macro game and Infernal Shrines a lot better than we did. We were busy looking for fights more than anything, and because of it, it put us behind in XP quite a bit. So they just started snowballing out of control, and we just couldn't deal with it once they hit level 10.
Right. Trey, do you have any questions about game 1?
So you were playing the Genji, correct, in game 1?
I was, yes.
Right. I'm curious to know what's going through your mind when you have this, when you're playing Genji into this huge, beefy Yrel Garrosh lockdown control frontline. What's going through your mind when you're trying to think of how to best contribute? How are you approaching team fights in that?
I'm just trying to find a flanking position to get onto Kael'thas and Alexstrasza more than anything. Once they hit level 10 and they got Cleansing Flame, Alex was a bit less so of a target, but the big issue was waiting for the Entomb to come out so I could get Dragon Value onto the back line.
Oh, so entomb the Garrosh, entomb the Yrel, lock them away so you can go move in.
Yeah,
Is that the
originally
idea?
when we were talking about it, we wanted it to secure like a stun from Diablo. Then I just see it in my head as like a way for me to go in uncontested.
Yeah,
Okay.
using the Entomb as a wall for Diablo then to be able to stun someone against, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So what did you guys talk about between games? How were you able to kind of deal with the fact that you lost that first game and kind of get recentered and ready to go into game 2?
Well, after game 2, there was a bit of tilt in comms. We got that out of our system completely, and we focused down. We figured out we sure as heck did not want to deal with the Yorel again. We're tired of the goat. None of that. And we decided we didn't want to give them a chance to play Kel'Thas either, so we were going to take that as well.
Mhm.
And Shadow loves Kel'Thas, so overall,
Right.
I feel like we just cleansed our minds and we just focused, buckled down, got what we were going after.
Yeah. So were you? Did you get everything you were looking for in this draft as well? Pretty much, or?
Well, in the draft, actually, we had to change things up immensely. We were originally going for Diablo again, but they banned that out first things first, so we had to change our game plan.
Right.
But it worked out.
Yeah, tell us about the Tychus pick at the end there, because we feel that that was a really great pick to put some pressure on ETC, who can be a little squishier than the other tanks on the front line. Was that your goal with that pick?
Yeah, that was completely the goal. Like their backline was so squishy that they wouldn't be able to sustain without their front line in front of them. And their front line was so easy to get through that, well, with Tychus, it just made everything 10 times better. And it
Yeah,
also gave us a little bit more frontline ourselves, since Tychus is pretty tanky for an assassin.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But the one thing I know, Trabe and I think Trabe is going to agree with me when we just have to give some kudos over to Grand Paladin on that Dahaka.
Absolutely, yeah.
Holy crap! He played. He or she. I don't know whether it's a he or she. He or she played out of their mind. So good.
Yeah, Grand Pal, he was doing pretty dang good in the Hawk in the second game especially. He was getting tongue after tongue, and he was just honestly, he was part of the reason we were able to untilt during the time between the games.
Well, he
He's
played fantastic. There was one point where he was fighting Thrall up in the top lane, and he used the tongue to keep Thrall off of the shrine, so that he was able to capture the shrine for your team. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
yeah.
I gotta say, for sure. So I just wanted to call that out.
I have one small question on builds. Just so you're clearly a Tychus master, so if you could settle a quick Tychus debate I've been having recently.
Go ahead.
Level 4, in the rhythm, bigger they are. Do you have a strong preference, or was it just this seemed like an in the rhythm game to you?
It was more of this isn't in the rhythm game for me. It's like the bigger they are, it's really good against high health pool targets, which ETC is not. He has very low health for a tank. And in the rhythm, that just lets me keep on burning not just him, but his entire team as well, since a lot of the time Genji was in my face as well, so that made it even better.
Mm-hmm. You take
So
down
like
ATC, Thrall steps up, you take down Thrall, Deckard steps up to try to land a root, you take down Deckard.
pretty much, yeah. Like the bigger they are, it's really good. I'm not gonna say that it's not, but they both have their situations that they're good in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you were on the Tychus. Yeah. And the Odin, I mean, you guys seem to use that beautifully as well, and enabled you to take down a lot of structures. Yeah. Your team, I can see why your team chose this map. You seem to be, very knowledgeable about the macro here, and you guys looked great.
And honestly, I'm glad we do well on it, at least now anyway. There was a point in time when we were having a bit of trouble with it, but seems like we found a solid state for it. And it's my favorite map too, so it makes me
That doesn't
happy.
hurt, right? Well, Norian, thank you so much for joining us for an interview. Before we let you go, do you have any shout outs or anything you would like to say?
I'd just like to shout out to my team and to everybody that's out there watching. I know I got a few friends that hopped into Twitch to watch us, and I'm glad they showed up. And thank you guys for casting. I can only imagine how good it was.
Oh, it was
Oh,
really fun to watch. We had such a good time.
yeah, an excellent series.
For sure. Well, thank you. And what's next for you guys? When's your next game? Do you know yet?
Our next game is tomorrow, actually.
Okay.
I believe we play up against Team Mapidus.
All right, cool. Well, best of luck to you. We can't wait to see what you do with the rest of your games this season, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. So, Trabe, man, that was a whirlwind.
Yeah, it was. I was expecting a good game, and I got 2 good games. So
Yeah.
I'm just happy to have seen them. That was I always love seeing when 2 teams go in with a very clear game plan and sort of do a battle of the wills. I feel like both these teams went into draft and they came out saying, "This is how we're going to approach team fights. This is what we're going to do to win." Not a whole lot of wandering about, poking at people, just smashing into each other, seeing who wins. That's my kind of match.
Duking it out. I loved it too. So, Trabe, thank you so much for joining me and co-casting. And if people want to see more of you, how do they do that?
My team, Arrogant Nephilim, is in Division C West. Our next game is Tuesday against Pathetic Wretches, I think.
Oh, that's going to be a big game. I think we talked about that. Weenus is casting that.
Weenus will be casting number 1 in Div C West versus number 2 in Div C West.
Okay,
so,
that's a huge match.
With some rivalry from Season 4 still on the line. So you should come in,
Nice.
get some Weenus rubber chicken action. You'll have a good time. We certainly plan to.
Hey, did you know that I have my own rubber chicken now?
You do?
Yeah, let me get it out.
Oh boy.
I got this at Weenus Fun. This is from Weenus, so thanks, Weenus.
Not a true caster without the rubber chicken.
Exactly. You got to be able to whip that rubber chicken out whenever it's necessary. And also, so on Twitter, you're at Wheat Sheep Ore, right?
I am. I have tweeted precisely once. It was to ask Weenus what flavor of wings he got at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
And what flavor was it?
He had got like 8, and he made them max them together. He wanted like a dry rub and a wet rub on them at the same. It was. I got way more than I ever bargained for from that one tweet. So I'm a little scared to tweet a second time. But hey, if you at me, maybe you'll have the privilege. My second ever tweet coming right at you.
I love it. That's great. You can find me at SwingTime Gaming on Twitter, or here on Twitch, I'm at twitch.tv/SwingTime. Once again, Trabe, thank you. I loved casting with you. Let's do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And for everybody else who joined us in Twitch chat, I see you all. We've got Kime, Krinovast, Say Go for Bro. Sorry. It's kind of hard to see because your name is green and it's like blending in with the white background. Astrindus, so many people. Thank you so much for your support and coming and checking out this great match between Massive Whiff and G.Guardian eSports. And we will see you next time. Or also, we will see you in the Nexus.
I was going to say the same thing.
Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great Sunday night.